Hey, how you doing guys? ZDEyE here. So today I wanted to share my very first impressions on the Ghost of Tsushima. Now my god, I will be having a review for this game, and yet it's also gonna be one of those very big heavy edited reviews too. On top of that, man, let's get into it. I'm actually very shocked and surprised how great this game looks, how awesome this game plays. It is incredible, seriously. Especially when you get into the combat. Ooh, it is superb. Now the difficulty of the combat, since I have chosen to play this game on a normal difficulty, at the moment there's only easy, normal and hard, and I went the middle ground, and I kind of like that option that I went with. Perhaps I was even considering going on a hard difficulty, but I was not familiar with the controls on this game, so that's why I went with the hard. And so as of yet, man, what a game, what a game. You know, the way, if we do make a little bit of a comparison between, like, okay, I shouldn't be doing this sort of a comparison, at least not yet, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. If you guys seen the gameplay already, you can see that a lot of the gameplay and the way you finish off the enemies is usually based on the animations, not necessarily the skill that you have showcased. But in Ghost of Tsushima, well, that's a totally different story. Like, the way that you use your katana against the spears, the bow and arrows, when you can deflect those shots, unless of course you obviously need to upgrade, you need to get the abilities and perks and so on, the techniques basically, and to get that kind of ability for you to deflect the arrows while they're coming at you, it's incredible. It feels incredible. Let's get into the difficulty of, the game itself, okay? Because since I have started playing on normal, like I already told you, I definitely need to tell you that this is nowhere near as difficult as Sekiro, as an example. For example, like the parrying attack that you can do in this game is a lot more forgiving, and basically you have a lot bigger opportunity of pulling that off. And in Sekiro, as an example, well, you need to be pretty much perfect. If not, well, you're only gonna get, it's not exactly going to be a good time for you. Dark Souls, well, that's a different story completely. Even in terms of the combat, is very different. In here, it is simply stunning. Let's get into the Assassinations. Basically, it has a vibe of the Assassin's Creed games. You being stealthy, a dishonorable samurai, basically. And like the way when you first pulled that off and what you did, I'm not gonna spoil anything, you're just watching the gameplay in the background. I kind of felt for him. I felt for Jin, what he did, and what it meant for him to be doing something against his uncle and what he's been advised and thought as, right? And going against that kind of a teachings, it's so impactful. And I think it portrayed very well in this game as well. As an example, no matter what style you want to be going at and playing as, facing face forward, or maybe you want to go stealthily approach in this game, either or, you have a lot of availabilities of pulling through a lot of the things, right? Basically, there are equipments in this game. More you basically play, the more you will be able to unlock. And so in doing so, you unlock, maybe if you want to, a kunai, basically the blades you can throw up to 2 to 3 at the same time, and once you can even kill the enemies. Sometimes he just breaks their block, so you can actually kill them as quickly as possible. Very useful equipment, by the way. But the thing is, I didn't utilize that as often as I probably should be doing it. And now I'm thinking, and I'm going to be always putting this into my mind, I will always need to use my equipment to the fullest as much as possible. Yes, this means I'm going to be using a lot more smoke bombs, distracting the enemies, disappearing, stunning them too if you upgrade your smoke bombs. And basically, when you do that, you will be able to pull off the assassinations. And when you upgrade your assassinations, you can actually kill up to 2 and then up to 3 enemies almost at the same time. And that is simply awesome. And yet there's also, this game also introduces a little bit of a fantasy like abilities as well. There's one with the phantom blade and stuff like that. Basically you press the triangle and the circle at the same time and you will be able to use I think 1 or 2 reserves, and by pretty much guaranteeing yourself like a kill, unless if you upgrade, but I'm not too sure if you can upgrade it. Still guys, I'm only playing like through the game. I'm still in the Act 1 at the moment. I've done plenty of side quests. I'm taking very slowly into this game. I want to savor it. I want to experience everything that this game has to offer, because I will be going for a platinum trophy on this game as well. As an example too, when the enemies are surrounding you and there are multiple of them, right? 1 enemy is actually easy to deal with, 2 easy as well, 3 it's getting harder now, 4, 5, 6, sometimes I even had to face 10 enemies and they're all there. And basically you kind of had to run away so you could face individual one at a time. And of course this means that you need to change up your style of play session. Basically different stances, from a stone stance I believe it was, and a water stance, as I believe water stance was good for breaking the armor and well, not necessarily the armor itself like the shield, but basically able for you to kill the enemies that are carrying the shields very quickly. The spears, at the moment when there's a red flash, you need to get out of the way because it is unparable. Unless if you had an ability to upgrade, then you can parry that, and so you can pull off some, you know, pretty much instant kill movements. I'm actually a little bit shocked, I want to say. Basically you cannot lock onto the enemies. That is a weird, like, why can I not do that? Like, you cannot lock on the enemies. That's such a weird decision. Like, usually these sort of games, they always have a lock-on system onto the individual enemy that you want to take care of first. In here, it's pretty much some ways the way you are pointing your analog stick, and that is Jin is gonna go for that, well, that specific enemy. There were some occasional moments, as an example, let me get into them. Dueling. Dueling is actually quite difficult, unless maybe I was underpowered in that moment, I'm not too sure. Yet again guys, I'm playing on medium. I had died like maybe 8 times, it was insane. But basically, to get this ability that I just talked about, basically, like, you know, pressing the triangle and the circle, pretty much almost insta killing enemies all the time. Well, it will use up a lot of the reserves, but that moment when dueling the enemy was actually quite challenging, and I really like that. You are actually learning of the uniqueness and the techniques, because if you guys did not know, well, I'm sure you know this already, you know, remember, there's the standoff moments. In this game, what? Standoff are awesome. Basically, you're approaching the enemies, and at that moment you hold the triangle button and let go, but always the enemies can fake you out. You could be doing it too early and they can slash you up, and it is amazing. And you can pull it off up to 3 enemies, but if you have an upgrade and an armor, specific armor mind you, you can pull off up to 5 enemies in the standoff moment, and it's so worth it. I did hear there's some kind of extra abilities that you will get later down in the game, and I cannot wait to get there, but of course I'm not too sure how it works exactly. Please don't tell me anything in the comments, I'm sure I'm gonna get there. Man, it is so enjoyable. Also, a little bit about the horse riding. I don't think there's any complaints that I have with it. I mean, it works perfectly well. You actually choose a horse for your own. You can choose even the name. My one is, I went with Darkness, like the horse that comes from the darkness. I don't know, it's just, I think it was Kuro? I think it was Kuro, yeah, I believe so. Might be wrong about the name, but I apologize. It's been a while. I didn't look up the name for this video. I apologize about that. Now a little bit about the side quests, right? Side quests are very good. I personally think so. There are even some of the side quests that introduces here on a similar degree up to like The Witcher 3. Seriously, I believe that too. But let's get into some of the bad things, unfortunately. Man. Even though the game is so goddamn beautiful, the leaves, the atmosphere, the sound, oh my god, the music, oh, so good, so good. Oh my god, but the animation in the faces, that is a lot to be desired. Basically what I'm trying to refer to as especially lip syncing issues. There are so many lip syncing issues, my god. I just don't believe it. Basically, lip syncing issues in this game is unreal. It really is. Basically, if you try to play this game in Japanese dubbed, but you listen in the subtitles in English, or you're not going to be listening, but you're obviously reading in the English subtitles, you can clearly see the lip syncing is off. Lip syncing is made for the English dub. So at the end of the day, I just simply went with the English dub, and I'm with the English subtitles. That's my choice. That's the way I went about. But yet there's still some issues. Like, I'm not too sure, maybe the emotionless characters with their face expressions, that doesn't really convey very much. I did notice these few gripes that I have with this game. Yet another thing, I cannot believe I have to mention this. Something is up with this character, Jin himself. The way he falls off the cliff, even though it's not even that high, he falls so heavily, very heavily, and to the point he loses so much health and sometimes even kills himself. They are like, I know there is an ability that you can upgrade to have a roll mechanic, basically, if you jump up a little higher up in the cliffs and stuff like that. The way you fall, it doesn't feel very satisfying, that's for sure. I don't know, maybe because I didn't feel how the rolling mechanic will really work for this game, but I'm intrigued about that. And lastly, the other bad thing I definitely need to mention, the climbing. I knew that Sucker Punch was never really good about the climbing, because like, if you have played the infamous Second Son, guys, basically when you try to climb in that game, it feels so awkward. It really does. It's insane. But in here, it's no better. It really is not better. Basically, you jump on the cliff, on the side of the cliff, and all you do is simply point your analog stick the way or the direction that Jin's supposed to go. All he does, just the rest he does it himself. You don't press X to jump if it's too high. No, he just does it himself. And the way he jumps and the way he pulls through all these maneuvers, it looks like he's a goddamn superhuman. Like, seriously. Like, it's very artificial. It does not really work in this game, or at least like a lot of things I can notice in this game has not yet been fully polished. And maybe not fully animated either. That's just these little few gripes I'm getting from this game. But even though I have these negatives about the game, my god, the game, that everything that it does well, it is incredible. It simply is incredible. Like, seriously, there are a few other issues, as an example, like some smaller interactions with the characters and side quests, especially, even though I did say the side quests are those are really good. Not all of them, and the few that are not good, it's especially when the camera kind of does this trick. It kind of moves away from the characters' interactions, signifying that basically, for the devs, as I believe anyway, they don't have to put too much effort into the face animations and the expressions when they have a conversation. Now, I understand a lot of you may even argue to say that that's just to show the beauty around the game while they're having a conversation. Sure, I understand that, they do that a lot, and that they do that fantastic. But, if there's always a compromise, there's always a solution. And seems like Sucker Punch has managed to do that. And I commend them for them. Even though there are some negatives, there is way too much positives that I'm noticing in this game that it's simply, I just need to commemorate. It is incredible. They have done a fantastic job for my first impressions. I cannot wait to give you guys my full review when I do finish this game. And man, it is going to be very, very exciting. Alright, I guess that's really it. I cannot really talk about the story. I personally believe that the first part of the story was strong. It was strong the way it began. Maybe a little bit slow into bringing, the way it starts up, but not so much. I think I actually very much enjoyed it so far. I don't want to talk about the story since I did not yet finish it. Alright, thank you so much for watching, guys. Like and subscribe. I see you guys all later. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And as always, have a good one.